Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Zusman with Willamette Week. Delighted to be here with Susannah Morgan, who is the CEO, I believe that's your correct title, of the Oregon Food Bank. And Susannah,
So glad to be with you.
It's nice to be here with you. You know, I would argue that the Oregon Food Bank, on the one hand, is probably one of the best known brands in Oregon. And at the same time, my guess is a lot of people don't know exactly what you do. So how about giving us a couple minutes about that?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Picture in your mind a tree. At the top of the tree, we have people experiencing hunger. Before the pandemic, we estimated there were 860,000 people who asked for food assistance at least once a year in all of Oregon plus Southwest Washington. They're at the top of the tree. The next level down in the tree, the next level of branches, is the food assistance sites where people go directly to get food from a food pantry or a meal site or a senior center or an after school program. There are 1,400 food assistance sites in nearly every community in Oregon. The food assistance sites get some food from their local community, their congregation, or the store down the road. And then they also get some of their food from the next level of branches, which is the regional food banks. There are 21 regional food banks across Oregon and in Clark County, Washington. Oregon Food Bank runs 5 of them. We run the one in Portland, in Washington County, in Tillamook, in the Dalles, and in Ontario. And the other 16 are run by separate organizations that are joined to us by friendship and collaboration and contract. And so the regional food banks pull in food from their local communities, the growers, the grocery stores. And then some of the food from the regional food banks comes from the statewide warehouse, which Oregon Food Bank also runs, and which I'm sitting in right now in Northeast 33rd Avenue in Northeast Portland. So Oregon Food Bank is the trunk of this tree holding the Oregon Food Bank network together for food distribution. But in addition to food distribution, we are also working on trying to end hunger for good. We are also working on the systems and symptoms and structures that lead to hunger in the first place. And we are doing it with all of the folks, people experiencing hunger and the volunteers and the community members all across the state in organizing to build a movement to end hunger.
Susannah, thanks for that. I want to ask you a couple of very basic, and they may even seem to you to be annoying questions. First, you said at the outset, you gave me a number for the number of Oregonians who, can you repeat that?
Yeah, our pre-pandemic number was 860,000 people who asked for food assistance at least once a year. So let's just call that 2019 for ease.
So 800,000, right? And Oregon's population is what? We're about 4.2 million. So
1 in 5.
1 in 5 people. Now, is that stat that you showed me, is that the definition of hunger if someone reaches out for food assistance once a year? I mean,
no, actually the group of people who are hungry would be larger than that, because you can be not eating enough and not ask for assistance. So those are the people who are worried about how they're going to feed themselves and their family and ask for help.
So how does Oregon compare with the rest of the country? Are we hungrier than most? If that's the right.
No, we're, well, again, pre-pandemic numbers. So we can talk pre-pandemic and then current, but we were right in the middle of the pack. We were right about at national average for the 2019 numbers for food assistance. So just, I mean, let's just think about that for a minute, that there are so many people hungry in our country, and that is what we call normal economic prosperity.
So Susannah, here's my first annoying question. If you make below a certain amount of money in this country, you can get food stamps. And I don't know, what is it like for one individual in Oregon? It's like $200 a month, I think, right? Something around that. So if again, I'm acknowledging what an annoying question is. If everybody who has the economic need in Oregon can get food stamps, why is there hunger?
For two big reasons. The first one is it is not true that everyone who has the economic need in Oregon can get food stamps. The cutoff for food stamps to be even considered to apply is 185% of poverty. And given the incredibly high housing prices in many parts in Oregon, you can swallow up so much of your income that you're not left with very much disposable income because of how high housing costs. So that's one thing. The other thing is it doesn't last the month. The amount of benefits that you get through food stamps is not sufficient to meet your food needs. And we find that people who are coming to food pantries and soup kitchens show up in week 3 and 4 of the month when the food stamps benefits have run out.
So what are your particular challenges right now as the CEO of Oregon Food Bank? What are you facing?
Oh, I don't know. COVID-19, wildfire response, racial justice demonstrations, a politically contentious election season. I think we're living in the same world that the rest of the folks are.
Well,
our view in...
I was going to say, let's break those down. So how has COVID affected you and your organization?
COVID has doubled the number of people who are hungry. Oregon State University estimates that the number of people who are hungry in Oregon has gone up 2 times since the start of the pandemic due to economic disruption. People not working or out of jobs and not getting sufficient unemployment insurance or getting stuck in the bureaucratic hole that was unemployment insurance in Oregon. So certainly
COVID, I'm sorry. So certainly COVID and the pandemic and the economic recession have increased the need. And I'm sure that the displacement created by the wildfires has also increased the need. But how about on the supply side? Has COVID created challenges in you accessing food and or the wildfires?
Boy, that's a very perspicacious question. The answer is yes. COVID in particular has really disrupted the national and in some cases international food supply chains. You've seen the news about meat packers being shut down. This means that it's been harder for us to purchase food in truckload quantities. And you've actually probably seen it as a consumer going into the grocery store, that they're out of items that you were looking for that you have never seen them be out of before because of disruptions in the global supply chain. That said, so far, and knock on wood, we're keeping up. We are succeeding in providing enough food to meet the increased demands for food assistance across the state.